I got the Suburban up on jack stands, but a ton of mud underneath it. So that only means one thing. I've been doing some spring cleaning. About to do my black paint on the frame that I've been complaining about so much. But while I'm here, I'm gonna change some CV shafts and I'm gonna change some front brakes. Put a little tweak on it. Got a little bit of work to do today. It ain't gonna be that bad. I done pressure washed this thing, got it all clean. It is a 3/4 ton, so it's an 8 lug. Already got it jacked up and in the air. Remove the wheel in. Here we go. Time for pressure wash and paint. I've pretty much gotten all the heavy mud and everything that was built up around all of my greasable connections. I need to put the inner fender well back in and go ahead and tackle these brakes. I have a bad shutter. The steering wheel goes left to right really bad once they warm up and you hit them a bunch. They don't look bad, but definitely the rotors are out of warp. So I'm gonna go ahead and upgrade these while I'm here. And somebody had painted these already, but the whole truck's black. I got these wheels with these big open vents in them, so I'm gonna do something cool with this. And then we'll change out some CV shafts. I said the boots don't look bad. They're still they're stiff. They could go anytime really, but it's an easy enough job. I got a few bolts back in there. I'm gonna take off this big nut in the front. I gotta take the brakes off and everything to get to it, so I might as well put new brakes on when I put it all back together. So I got some new CV shafts I'm gonna do, and I got some brake upgrades I'm gonna do. Loosen this first whenever you do brakes, just kind of let it sit there. Pull out the slide bolts first. Just hold this in here. I remembered to wear my gloves today. And then the bottom one. And those will come out. Sometimes it's just easier to use the socket to turn the bolt out. So glad I pressure washed all this yesterday. It's nothing worse than working in a bunch of dried up mud. Down here in Louisiana, we got this real sticky, like gumbo mud's what we call it. It doesn't just rinse off, and if you let it dry, shame on you. Last dude definitely took this thing in the mud to see what it would do. I had a set of mud tires on it when I first got it. Yeah, somebody that knew what they were doing did this. I'm grateful for that. So this will just slide off. Alright, that was the ticket, bottoms up. And just kind of put this where it won't be hanging. Go ahead and you can slide your brakes out. Oh man, these are like brand new. Still got the groove in them and everything. That's for later. We can bust this back one loose now. Wasn't too bad. And these brakes were just done, so turn that. That'll hook right there. I ain't going nowhere. All right, next the drum just kind of wiggles off. It's pretty much the same on most disc brake vehicles. You see a lot of mud up inside of that. Oh, mud riding. It's fun while you're doing it. And take your pry bar and get in there and wiggle it loose. Here we go. Oh, look at that. It's pulling out. Just push it right out the front. Man, that wasn't too bad. It's either take off the shock or take off the sway bar. I'm gonna take off the sway bar. So to make this easier, this right here is spinning. So I'm gonna hold this with a wrench or a pair of pliers while I undo this down here. That way I can pull the whole thing out. How about now? This thing here's got some threads on it. That's a long threaded rod there. Slide everything else out. A little wiggle. Everything's falling out now. Look. Give yourself some room. Sometimes you gotta take off some parts. It just makes it easier than fighting around stuff. It's got a little weight to it. Alright, and that's out. Oh, so while you're under here, check and see if this has any wiggle to it. It's gonna have some input, but nothing up and down. It's nice and tight. You can feel the gears meshing in it. And it seems like it's got plenty of fluid. Alright, back to the task at hand. Oh, here's the new one. Man, these dudes are alright. Nice soft rubber. The other one's kind of brittle. Can't exactly squeeze this. It's very stiff. They gave me a new axle nut and everything. So it's definitely a remanufactured part. I got off of eBay, but got both of them for about 200 bucks. And I believe they're both the same. Nope, that one's a little shorter. I think we get the other one. Maybe it's the right one. Alright, taking a second look. They are two different lengths. It looks like the driver's side is just a little bit longer compared to the passenger side. So it matches up with the one I just took off. Yep, there you go. And he gave me a new nut. Check them dudes out. But I definitely want to say this is contributing to my vibration. Yeah, it's just this much. Just a hair. So this is going to go on the passenger side. The longer one's the driver's side. Alright, let's go put it in. Alright, put the new one back in. Rinse, repeat. Line the splines up, slide it into place. Ready to go. Push this up in here. Rotate in place. It'll kind of lock in. once you get the first one in, it'll hold itself for the rest of the way. Man, am I scraping some mud out from under this thing. Even pressure washing it and all, I'm still finding mud in places. That's, you take your stuff off road, you go mud riding. It's like I keep saying, it's fun while you do, but man, that stuff gets up in your electrical connections. It seeps into your drive line and gets inside of these boots. And it just holds moisture against your frame. Make your frame rust out, causes all kind of problems. If you got a vehicle specifically dedicated to going off-road and mud riding and all that, that's great. But man, you take your daily driver off-road, you're asking for problems. What you do is you get you a nice breaker bar. I think this set of 4 is like 10 bucks at Harbor Freight. And you put this to where when you go to rotate to tighten up your bolt, sorry, that would be this way. It just locks in on itself. Put the curve to where it's locked into that, and that's locked into there, and you can tighten all you want. Unless you're moving the ground or picking a truck up, it ain't going nowhere. Impact on, impact off. It's a lock nut. There's little grooves in it. Right there's a little flat spot. And that keeps it from backing off while you're driving. It's going to pull the whole assembly forward. I'm going to tighten it up. Going forward, put it on. Lift the little compressor kick up. My big one isn't hooked up yet. So those of you who don't know, this is called the Ooga Dooga. If you want it tight, you give it 1 Ooga Dooga. If you want it kind of tight, give it 2 Ooga Doogas, and if you want it really tight, you give it 3 Ooga Doogas. Ooga Dooga 1. And move just a little bit. Ooga Dooga 2. A little bit more. Ooga Dooga 3. Super tight. 3 Ooga Doogas. Alright, y'all. That's another weekend down. Got a bunch accomplished this weekend. I'll be posting all of it. But here's a quick go around. Still haven't dropped it yet. But all my hard work has paid off. Man, ain't nothing there. I got the whole underside pressure washed. Nice and clean. Man, I'm loving it. Can't wait to see them rolling. It's coming along. It's the vision I saw whenever I bought it anyway. So like I said, I got a bunch more to go, but man, she's coming to leaps and bounds. Well, I'm gonna get it one weekend at a time. Just hang with me and we'll get on to something better than this. Thanks for tuning in to Modified. Catch y'all next time.